Hi everyone, welcome back to the Keeping It Positive podcast with your host. I'm Cameron.
And I'm Ashley. And today we'll be talking about different stories of different times that we went through failure and how we overcame that, or even what lessons we learned from that. But before we get into that, we're about to start with Cameron with our unpopular opinion of the day. So let's get into it.
So my unpopular opinion is that I think that everybody should know how to swim. Everybody should learn how to swim, at least know how to swim, or at least know how to keep yourself above the water and not panic. I think it's such a valuable skill to know, and not everybody knows how to swim. And I think that everybody should just know how to do it because, for safety reasons, falling in a pool, at the beach, get stuck somewhere, anything like that. It's always good to know how to swim. So.
No, that's nice. I definitely agree with that. Swimming is definitely an important skill to learn, to master. Not even to master, just to know the basics of. Because you never know, you can get. I remember when I was younger, I got pushed in the pool like one time, and I did not know how to swim. But luckily, it was like the shallow end, so I was Gucci. I was good. But after that, I learned how to swim very quickly because it's like that can happen anytime, no matter where you are.
Especially if you have like young kids, like kids like 5, 6, 7. Like, just them knowing how to swim is like, I think it's so important, just so they're aware of their surroundings, and if something does happen where they get pushed in any body of water, they can get themselves out or just stay afloat.
And it's just a good exercise too. Swimming's a great exercise. It works the full body out, and you be tired as I don't know what after that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's my popular opinion.
All right, well, now we're going to get into today's topic. And we know that in life, you're going to experience failure, and we're going to have to figure out different ways to deal with it. And in our 23 and 22 years of living, we've experienced some failure. And so today we just wanted to share some stories of the failures we've been through and how we work to overcome that. So who wants to start? You want to start?
You start.
Okay, I'll start. So this story... It happened in school, in college, because I've been in a lot of school, high school, middle school, all that stuff, but in college. And you know how in school you have a certain amount of days that you can miss? Like when you read the syllabus at the beginning of the semester, the teacher's like, yes, make sure y'all read this because that's important information. And they tend not to go over it in depth for in college. Like they want you to read it yourself. So I was the type of student to memorize how many missed days you can have just because, I need my mental health days. Respectfully. I do.
What is everybody?
That's what you're supposed to do.
What does everybody do that? I see the number of days. I'm like, okay, that means I can, and I keep track in my head. I'm like, I miss this day. Okay, I missed 2 days.
Exactly. You're supposed to do it. It's a requirement, okay?
Or sometimes you plan them out. Like, okay, I already know I'm missing this day. I can't miss this day.
Yes. But, however, this worked for me all 3 years. Senior year, we get around to senior year, right? And, there's a little thing called senioritis that a lot of people tend to get. And it tends to come in the second semester of your senior year. And for me, it definitely did that. So my second semester, it was my theater class. I get to my theater class. I see the amount of missed days you can do. And I'm like, okay, bet. Like, it was about 4 days. I think it was 4 days you can miss. Now, I missed the first day, missed the second day, missed the third day. And I was going to save that 4th day to the end of the semester. Just so I can, have it, But I ended up missing the 4th day. And every day after that you miss, your grade ended up going down a point. So you can start at an A, but you can miss that 5th day and it goes to a B. You can miss that 6th day and it goes to a C. So in my head, I'm not missing no more days now, right? And I was doing fabulous. I had an A in this class. I was chilling. Me and the teacher were like this right here. Now, granted, sometimes she got on me a little bit. She was like, Ashley, come on now. Why are you missing these days? And I don't know. It's something about being in school your senior year just makes you want to sleep in.
You're not lying.
It just makes you want to sleep in. You be so tired your senior year because it's I don't know, something about senioritis. But we got our last assignment, which was the final exam project. And she gave this to us about a month and a half in advance. And it was to memorize a script. And the day of the final performance, the final exam, we would perform with a random partner. So she would just pick somebody randomly. So she had this amount of people memorize part A, and this amount of people memorize part B. I don't remember which part I was assigned. I just remember I was assigned it a month and a half in advance. So I'm living last month of school, chilling, going out with my friends, having fun. Like, I totally forget about this. Then, like, about a week and a half before the final exam, she says in class, like, remember the final exam is a week and a half now. Make sure you have your script memorized. I'm like, oh, like, I got to memorize my script. And one thing about me, I can memorize very quickly. So I look at it that first day, and then I put it down 5 minutes afterwards because I'm like, I'll do it later.
Yeah.
The second day I look at it, I put it down because I'm like, I'm going to do it later. The third day I look at it, I put it down because I'm going to do it later. And finally, I get to the day before the final exam, and I still don't have the script memorized. So, do I start in the morning of that day? No, I don't. I wait until 10 o'clock that night to start memorizing that doggone script. Now, mind you, my class is at 9:30 in the morning. 9:30 in the morning. I wait till 10 o'clock at night to start memorizing this script.
Oh, gosh.
So, I start memorizing it, and then
you better than me because I cannot. I'm cooked. I'm cooked, y'all.
I mean, I wasn't cooked yet.
I'm cooked.
Around 11 o'clock, I called Cameron in my room, and I'm like, Cameron, can you, like, go through this with me?
Was it long?
Cameron, you help me with this.
I can't remember if it was long or not.
It was not long. It was like a page and a half, 2 pages at max.
Okay.
So I called Cameron in my room around 11 o'clock that night, and I was like, Cameron, I think I got it down pat. Like, can you just read person A? If I was person B, I'd be like, Cameron, can you read person A? And I'll just read person B. So she would read it, and I would get it wrong. So we did this for until about 2 o'clock that morning, and finally she was like, actually, I'm like, I'm tired. So she went to bed in my living room while I was still going over it. I finally got it. It was like 5:30. Maybe it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock. And I finally got it. Finally. But I was like, I can't go to sleep because my class is like at 8:39. And if I go to sleep now, I'm not waking up. I'm not waking up.
You're not waking up.
Because by this time, it was like, because you have to get ready for bed, you have to brush your teeth and do all this stuff. I had to have me a little snack. And by the time I did all that stuff, I packed my bag and stuff, it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock. So I was doing good. I only had about an hour and a half left because I know we started walking to class at around 8:15-ish, just so I can get there a little early because I like to take my time and maybe get some breakfast. 7:30 comes around. Somehow I ended up in my bed. I was like, I'm going to lay down for 10 minutes.
You should start doing some exercise.
10 minutes. Like, give myself 10 minutes. I lay my head down. Next thing I know, it was 11 o'clock. I said...
What time was her?
Like, 9. It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. I can't remember the time the class started for real. But it was 11 o'clock when I woke up. That final exam was at 8:39. And I immediately, my heart was like, it just dropped all the way down to my feet. Like, it went out of my body. It was non-existent at that point. Like, I immediately got up, emailed my teacher. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, my procrastination, da-da-da-da-da. I totally forgot about this. I was giving her all the excuses in the book. And I was being truthful. I was like, I studied all night last night. I procrastinated on this thing. I know you gave us a month to do, but I waited till the night before. And I finally did memorize it this morning around 5, 6 o'clock. But then I fell asleep. And I did not wake up till just now. And I emailed her all of this. And I know, like, the final exam grade was already in, y'all. It dropped my grade in the class from an A to an F. Because that final exam is worth a smooth...
A to an F is actually crazy.
But if you miss the final exam... She told us, she was like, if y'all miss this final exam, like, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. Because we really didn't have a lot of assignments in that class.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, the final is worth, like, 50%.
This was an easy final too. Like, this was literally, the easiest final I've ever taken.
I feel like that's a lot. Yeah, that's true. It would be the easiest final that you had compared to your other class.
The other class I had actually memorized information. Like, this right here, that came nat. Like, it was so easy. It was an easy A I could have got. And I got an F in this class. And mind you, I needed like one more credit hour to pass, like, to graduate. Mm-hmm. And this class was my credit hour that needed to graduate. So if I didn't have this credit hour, I wasn't graduating. So I put that in my email too. I was like, like, I need this class to graduate. And you can't, F is not going to, like, let it happen. I know now that you could have paid for an extra credit hour, but who's trying to do that? Like, you know what I mean? Who's trying to pay for an extra credit hour? Like, I already gave this school all this money.
Yeah, you already in the class. Like, you already in the class
exactly.
The whole time.
So after I emailed her, I was sitting for, like, hours. I emailed her at 11:44 a.m. You see this? 11:44. I have the screenshot of what she sent back to me right here. She emailed me back at 2:11 p.m. So from 11:44 a.m. to 2:11 p.m. I couldn't do nothing. I was crying. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to graduate. Oh my, this is horrible. Like, I'm never going to procrastinate again.
You having like almost to final?
Dear Lord, I promise you, da, da, da. You know the Lord, I promise.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. She said at 2:11, she said, hey, hello, Ashley. I have been in finals all day, but I did see your emails. Thank you for your honesty and holding yourself accountable. Unfortunately, there is nothing you can do to make up this final. I know this is your last semester and you need to pass this class to graduate. I am able to give you a D in this semester in spite of you not earning it, but it's the best I can do. I hope you understand and are able to learn from this class. You are the author of your own destiny. If you can show up, put in effort, avoid procrastination, and bring willingness to play, you can conquer anything. If you do not embody these qualities, you will let yourself and others down. You know what you need to do. It's just like Nike. Just do it. And remember, life is not going to allow you to just pass the class. You will get out of life what you put in. Best of luck. And when I tell you, her name was Maya. I love her to death. I love her to death. She really just saved me. Because I really could have, I would have graduated because all you have to do is pay. But in that moment, I was like, I'm not going to graduate. I'm not about to pass. And you know, all those thoughts come rushing in.
Thoughts like, oh my God.
And I was like, I promise you, Lord, I will never procrastinate again. And I was so serious. Now, granted, I have really worked on my procrastination since then just because of this situation. And this is like the worst procrastination.
I feel like a lot of college students have had a situation, even if it's not like that, like where they actually like miss a final. A lot of college students have had situations where they're in that last class and it's always this class they need to graduate, and it's like either the teacher giving them a hard time or it's like something like that happens. Exactly. The final. And
that's horrible. And it's like there's no reason I should have missed that final, but I was tired. Like I was exhausted from staying up.
You could have took that whole week and been like, let me just every day let me do this.
Procrastination, it'd be killing you. So that's my story. I learned from that that I really need to work on my procrastination. I'm still working on that to this day. But you know, I promise you I will never procrastinate that badly ever again. Because I was really blessed in that situation. I really feel like that taught me a deep, deep lesson that I need to actually plan out my time.
It's probably scared you. Probably your heart.
I didn't even tell my parents. I didn't tell my parents
until. No.
I told my mom like 2 weeks ago.
That's something you don't tell them until after the fact. Like, they could have scared them. Your parents would have. We don't have to go up to the school or something.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
but I was
my parents the same way. Like, girl, they'd be like, girl, what are you doing? You're missing. Like, I would have heard the whole 9 yards. So
that was crazy though.
Yeah.
Okay, but now I'm ready for your story.
Yeah. Okay. This is any story? Like, is this a story that I okay.
Any failure story.
Okay. So, also when I was in college.
We love the college stories.
There's been many times where I failed, you guys. Like, try things or just fail different times. But there's like a specific story I'm thinking of so I had a class. So I think my sophomore year, I originally started off in college as a computer science major. I didn't graduate with a degree in IT or information science. I had a computer science major at first, but I changed my major I think halfway through, so like end of sophomore year, maybe beginning of junior year. But before then, like first 2 years, I had computer science classes, you know, intro, you know, like just getting into the stuff and programming classes, stuff like that. If you know, like you know, if you know, you know, you know. But prior to like getting into college, I had experience in working in tech and working like programming and web design and just anything like that, programming languages, stuff like that. So I have like history and background in what I was doing. So I took this class. It was an intro to computer science class. It was the first class you had to take for the major in general. So I took the class, I think my sophomore year, and you know, I had a couple of friends in the class. I knew some people I knew, but I just really struggled in class. Like I really struggled. That was one time that was the first time in my life that I was actually putting forth like really, really a lot of effort into a class, into a subject, and I wasn't getting I was not just getting it. Like I was not comprehending like any of the material. Like it was not like coming out like how it was supposed to come out. You know what I mean? Or maybe it wasn't analyzing in my brain how others how we did for others. So like I started off the semester, maybe I think the first few assignments, like maybe it was coding assignments, you know. So the first maybe two or three assignments I was doing pretty well because it was basic, you know, basic coding languages like Java, like a little bit of like I think Python or SQL, I'm not sure, but it's mainly Java. But I was doing fine the first few assignments, I think the first 2 or 3, and then around that like fourth assignment, fifth assignment, as it started getting harder, as the material started getting more drawn out, and I had to actually like work on coding projects and things that I haven't really like had the ability to actually like analyze and think in my brain, I really struggled. Like I struggled bad. I struggled to the point where I was starting to get like my grades were going. My grades first assignments, I think my grades were like 90s, 80s, and then it started going down to the point where I was getting 50s. I was getting 30s on assignments. They weren't tests. I was getting 30s on assignments.
You know that brings your grade
and
down.
That would bring my like even though it wasn't taking me down that much, little by little, every assignment. It was, you know, it was like at least I think 13 coding assignments in the whole class. You know, it was taking me down every time. Every time we put them grades, and I was like, oh. And mind you, every Wednesday we had coding assignments, and they would open up I think at like 8 a.m. and they would close that same day at like maybe like 3 or 4 because he didn't give you the whole day to do the assignment. He gave you a certain amount of time. Whatever, that's fine. But I would get up that morning, be working on the assignment all that whole time. Would not eat, y'all. Would not eat. I would eat. Wouldn't drink nothing. I would just be sitting out in the dark in my like, you know what I mean. I'm in the dark. I'm sitting at my computer working on this assignment, looking at different people's code, asking my classmates, what'd you get for this? What'd you get for this? How do you do this? How do you do this part of the code? Whatever the case may be. But I was struggling, y'all, using my friends' help, struggling still. So by the time I think we got to like maybe the 9th assignment or something, 9th, 10th assignment, I was like, I need help. Like this is bad. Like I might actually fail this class. And I'm actually trying. I got extra textbooks. Like I didn't. You don't. I'm using all my resources. Yeah. I'm using my people, my people, in my class. I even asked professor if that professor could give me like the answers to past code assignments so that I can look back at the past code assignments and maybe figure out what I'm missing to get to the right next ones, or what to get right on the next one. You know, I'm doing everything. I'm asking my parents for help. My parents got me a tutor. They bought me, paid for me to get a tutor. Paid for me to get a tutor outside of school. Not really even with the school. Just so I got a tutor with the school. Everything. Like I got a tutor with the school too. I had a tutor with the school too. It was we did it online. But I had another tutor that was outside of school that we paid for out of pocket, just so I could help me with this class specifically. And even with that person helping me, that person would help me on the coding assignments. I still would not do as well as I thought I would do. And I think around like the end of the class, my grade was going low. I think I had like a 60. I was on the edge of like 69, 65 type thing. And then around the end of the class, I think I was taking the final, you guys. And I was taking the final. The final was online because it was still COVID. It was still COVID. So final was online. I'm trying to finish this time and finish the final. It was part. Like the final was not just like the coding, like just giving you a project and coding. The final was also like a part where you have to do multiple choice. The multiple choice part I did fine. I know how to. Right. I can see code and just like say this is not right. I can look at something and see if it's not right or not. The problem is when somebody gives me something like say code, do this for me, code this for me
without any like
without any type of guidance. I'm like I don't even know where to start. You mean you want me to? And then I think one of the last coding project was like code a chess game. Girl, I don't even know how to play chess. How would I know how to code a chess game to play chess against itself? I don't even know how to play chess. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know the pawns. I don't know what to put. I don't even know to start with. I don't know how. I don't even know how the game works.
You know the word pawn.
Like, I was tripping. Like I really like the multiple choice part. I did fine. I did pretty decent. I think I got at least like a 75.
Okay.
I did pass it. I passed it for sure. That the last coding part separate where you had to code this. I gave you this prompt and you had to code this. I promise you. I think on that last part I literally just put in like the first few lines of code that you had to put like for every code that you wrote, and then I didn't put I put like some random stuff, or I put some I don't know. Promise y'all, I did not know what I was doing. I tried to put in little parts where I didn't know. I couldn't know this could be the answer. Write down little parts of the pieces of the code, little lines, but probably say I did not know nothing about. Like, I was very honestly like confused, and I think coding is a thing where like it's a very hard thing to learn how to do, and you have to have a certain type of mind to do it. Like you have to really practice it. It's not something where you can just like it's not like learning like business stuff. It's not like learning business stuff. It's like somebody, I don't know, you have to kind of like rewire your brain to think real analytical. Like if this happened, I want you to code something, code me a game. So like you have to code. Okay, I want to create a character. You have to create all the characters. Okay, let's create characters. What do you want the characters to do? You want the characters. This character can jump. This character can side to side. You have to be very like knowing what you're gonna do. You know, I want this to be a loop. I want this to go over and over again, and I want this to stop. If this happens, then I want this to stop. If this happens, then I want. It's very like you have to know what you're doing. Like you have to know it, and you have to be able to see it before you actually write it. And that's something where I struggled at when it came to that. So I think that last final, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get on this final. I just hope that I just prayed that once I turned it in, that my grade stayed above, like stayed at least at a D.
Right.
I don't care.
Because at that point you were like,
I was like, it's all. I wasn't giving all I got. I'm using everything I can. I don't know what's not sticking up here, you know. So I'm not saying I would never be able to get that type of stuff, but understand like how to code a chess game and stuff like that. But I feel like that's something that you really have to train your brain over years to be able to code.
It takes practice, longer than a semester.
Like it takes longer than a semester just to learn that stuff. And I don't care what anybody says. Everybody in my class was struggling. It was online class too. At that, it wasn't even like we were sitting in class.
Though, too,
I wasn't even in class, guys. I'm learning this stuff online. I'm using books. And that was like one of the hardest things to this day. That was one of the hardest classes I've ever taken. I've taken a lot of hard classes, but that other classes, like I've taken those. Okay, like at least I know this is concrete knowledge. I can take this and I can study this over and over again. I don't have to really do too much critical thinking, problem solving, actual problem solving, like a visualization. Everything else, like you give me a textbook, I can like history. Okay, I learned this history. Learn a history book. Okay, once I know, I either know it or not. That type of stuff is like it's like a math problem, basically. Right? A gigantic math problem. You have to learn how the pieces work, how to put the pieces together, what pieces to put together, and then how to make it work all together. And that was hard for me.
Where did you get in the class?
I got a D-.
Okay, you know, hey,
by the grace.
You still the man above. That's still
I promise
right
you.
There.
If he would have had one more assignment, I would have had F. Because on that final, it dropped me down to whatever what grade,
the final dropped you down still.
Yeah. But if on the final, it dropped me down. I don't know how many points, but it definitely dropped me down. But if I would have one more assignment, it would drop me down even further. I would have had F. But you know how like some classes they have like. If you know it's a hard class, they'll have the grading scale change a little bit down so that a D is technically a 60. I had like a 61, 62. Anything. If I went into a 59, F.
Yeah, so you was like right there.
So I was on that brink. I was on that brink, and by the grace of the man above, I passed the class.
A.
But I mean, after that, I didn't really matter because I changed my major. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Especially if we were during COVID times. I'm not learning this information online.
Yeah, that's especially hard. And to learn it by yourself and with no help.
To learn by myself.
Like, some people do that.
Technically on this coding assignment, we were not supposed to help each other. But you know, I'm using my resources. I don't know what I'm doing, and this is an online class. Too, yeah. The teacher, we didn't even have asynchronous like asynchronous like time for being He would give us like little video clips of him talking, explaining stuff, and we had little not Kaplan, but something like Kaplan, like online resource.
Like an online resource program.
Man, y'all, what?
Jeremy said those don't work.
Those don't work for helping somebody learn something. I need somebody to sit down and teach this to me. This is not that kind of thing. Like maybe if I was learning something else, like you know, art history or something, or science. Okay, maybe that would work. But this is not like concrete stuff. This is stuff like if this happens, you need this, or you need this to bring in this to, you know, those are different types of stuff. So really struggled with that. So that was like that was definitely one to this day. That's one of the hardest things I had to like learn or get through. I got through it, but
you did it. That's all that matters right there. And you tried your hardest. You used all the resources you could. That's all that matters.
That's the most like time effort I put into like a lot of. Before that, I promise you, I was coasting. You know, in high school you coast. So I really tried too hard. I never really tried too hard. I would always just be able to pick up on things pretty easily. But with that, I had other classes that were hard too, but they weren't. I was able to like, you know what I mean? I had a class Roman archaeology. I wasn't really fond of like learning anything like that. I had to take a class because you need a certain requirement. Took it, but you know it was some information I could it was information that was concrete and I can learn it. It's like history. I can,
Right.
okay, I can learn how to do this. But with that, I was like,
It wasn't working.
Yeah, it was not.
It'd be like that sometimes, yeah.
But I got through it, and even though I was on the brink of failing, I didn't completely fail. So I feel like the lesson for me from learning from that was just that, I put all I could into what I could do with the time that I was given, and the resources that I was really working and trying to do better. And that's my dad ended up telling me, you put in all you could, and that's all you can do at the end of the day. Like you really try. It wasn't like somebody could say you didn't try hard, you didn't put enough effort into it. I really did what was going on in the world at that point, just trying to learn stuff on my own, which I never really had to do. I always had a teacher, I always had somebody like there guiding me. Or even if my dad, but he didn't know too much about, the stuff I was learning. And that's even harder. So, I was really struggling with that aspect. But other than that, I was able to learn, like, use your resources when you can. But at the end of the day, all you can do is try your best with the time you're given, you know what I mean? And with what you're given, so.
That's all you can do. That's on period.
Yep. So now we're going to do the quote with Ashley.
All right, y'all. So today's quote reads, "Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible." And I just did this quote just to say, like, no matter what you want to do, no matter what you're thinking, nothing's impossible. All you gotta do is try. Period, point blank.
Keep trying, y'all. Keep
trying.
Keep on pushing on. It's crazy. I seen a little clip of a video the other day talking about something like that, where it was saying, success isn't measured by how you achieve something. It's measured by like how many times you really try. Because like if somebody would have stopped trying like their third time trying to get something, then they would have not gotten it the fourth time. Or they would have stopped trying the sixth time, they never would have got the seventh time.
Exactly. You never know how many times it's gonna take you.
You know what I mean?
You gotta keep going if it's something you want to do. And that's on period.
I love that. So thank you guys for listening so much to our podcast. We appreciate you so much. But we hope this podcast has inspired you to
keep it positive.